All right, this is SFBarkast. I am Jeff Cleary.
I am Andrew Lauder.
Andrew, where are we today?
We're at 19th Street Station in Oakland, California.
Now, Andrew, I know I drank a lot last night, but what are we doing in Oakland?
You know, you have to give respect where respect is due. Actually, if you want to find an actual dive bar at this point, I think like you pretty much have to go to Oakland.
Yeah, that's true. Or you have to go out to the outer sunset.
Yeah, exactly. But who the hell wants to do that?
And this bar is just like from walking in, I could tell this is the kind of bar that I like.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
it's not only crazy crap everywhere, but like it's like almost disturbingly well lit, like where it's just like everything sort of like says like we're here for a reason, and it's not to enjoy like dark ambiance or anything.
Which is
like
like
that.
an interesting call for a dive bar interior decorator. It's like, you know what, we're going to go with lighting this time.
Sorry,
We want people to see each other and all the bad mistakes they can make.
But like this place has like, you know, one of the more impressive collections of complete and total crap that I've ever seen. Like, which just amazing. Like not only sports memorabilia, but like railroad and like weird hats and all kinds of shit.
This is sort of authentic bar that a lot of those like wacky bars that are like sort of engineered try to emulate.
Yeah,
You know, like it's that sort of like
Cracker Barrel sort of thing.
yeah, or it's like, oh, sunglasses on an alligator. Now I've seen everything. It's like, because there's a lot of kooky stuff on the wall here, but like, here it's not, it wasn't up to some dude who just got out of like interior decorating school.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you can tell.
I studied dive bars at Penn State.
Like everything has like a differing amount of dust on it, sort of like like where
Yep.
you know like okay, that's been sitting there for like 50 years.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
Like on the Houston Street statue, that's only been there about 5 years because that's the last time he played for the Oakland A's.
And here's another like element of its authenticity. The bartender has a bunch of framed photos of a lot of old football players.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I've been watching football for a long time. I know my way around the NFL.
Right.
I don't recognize any of these fucking people. And it's like, I was like, is that Bubba Smith? It's like, no, it's some other dude. Is that Jack Lambert? Nope,
Like,
it's
it
some
probably
other
comes
dude.
from like years of like some guy at the bar being like, I don't have to pay for shit. Like I used to play for the Raiders. And you'd be like, yeah, prove it. And he like rips a page out of a magazine and he's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna frame that.
Oh, this is the police blotter. Yeah, I play for the
exactly.
Raiders.
What is this? This is just your headshot.
Yeah, so this is on 19th.
Yes.
It's called 19th Street.
19th between like Webster and Franklin maybe or
Yeah.
something like that. Like
And this is a sports bar. Man, some of the sports stuff they have here, some of the memorabilia is really
like it's
obscure.
crazy. Like they have a small tube TV behind the bar. They have like I guess like one or two halfway decent like TVs, but it's definitely not like a modern sports bar where you're just like assaulted with like 50 screens or anything like that.
No,
like,
absolutely not.
It's a
And-
traditional like old sports bar.
And the clientele here is really authentic as well.
Oh yeah, totally, yeah.
Oh, are they authentic?
Being authentic all over their shoes.
Yeah, some of like the sports memorabilia here, it's like you got like regular stuff, like it's a cow helmet. For some reason, there's a Jason Sehorn jersey on the wall.
Well, that is odd.
It's like it must be like a trivia night or
They're
something
big
like that.
Angie Harmon fans.
But they have a massive Houston Street bobblehead on the bar.
I know it's one of my favorite things. And there's just random there's like a Cowboys poncho and a cricket bat and like another baseball bat that says like attitudes adjusted daily, all kinds of like clever humor like that.
That's hilarious.
Again, it's like all kinds of like insinuations that the bartender will physically assault you if you displease him in any way.
Well, we'll get to that because I did a little research on this bar.
You got your ass kicked by the bartender?
No, actually, I read this article where they were interviewing the owner, who's also the bartender,
Yeah.
and
He's been here every time I've ever been here. So
he owns the place.
He's like a terrible alcoholic, but he's been here as much as I have.
Exactly. Whoa, man, that guy needs help. I'll have another beer. But in this article, he was saying that they only has 2 rules. One of them is no cussing, and to that I say, fuck that.
Fuck that shit.
And the other one is like behave, or like no fighting, whatever. And he said
Behave.
in the whole time he's owned this
Very
place,
vague.
which is like 2 decades, he's never had a fight. Until tonight.
Right. Like, like he's never had a fight. To which I asked him, "What the fuck are you looking at?"
And okay, and in this article I was reading, so this guy, his name is Roy, I believe, and he bought the bar, I believe, 2 decades ago. How much do you think he paid for the bar?
Oh boy, this is going to be.
Maybe we'll set
gonna be a bargain.
Let's set an over/under at.
Actually, I mean, like 10 years ago isn't that long ago. I mean, like, so we're talking like early '90s, maybe, or
I think
mid-'90s.
so.
Like, I'm gonna guess $150,000.
Okay, according to this article, he paid $500 for this bar. And I did not read this article in like Mad Magazine.
That would have been my 1,000th guess.
Yeah, if that's true, good for him.
Yeah, really.
It's fucking priceless now.
Tell him we'll fucking double it.
Exactly. I'll tell you what. We heard that you bought this bar for $500. We'll give you $700 for it.
How many lottery tickets would it take to walk away with this bar?
Oh, and you know what? We're totally burying the lead here because
the San Bernardino shitting? No.
No, we'll get to that.
All right.
But the main attraction of this bar, or disattraction of this bar, depending on your position, is that you can smoke in here.
Oh God, yeah,
So
yeah. Like I totally forgot to mention that, but yeah, I mean, this is a holdout that like for whatever. It's odd. Like, you know, it's unclear exactly how that works. Like, if he has to like sort of grease the wheels of like the local cops, or if
you think everything's about corruption.
Well, I'm assuming this all has something to do with the Kennedy assassination.
No. So the rule is if everybody who works at the bar is the owner of the bar and they want to allow smoking.
Oh, it becomes like a club.
It's because with the whole smoking ban, the reason why they put it, the argument when they instituted it, is that people who work in bars who don't smoke are being put in this dangerous environment.
Right. They can't necessarily choose to, you know.
Right. So if the owner is the only person working at the bar, and he doesn't give a fuck, and like, you know, he can allow smoking all he wants.
Oh, okay.
But it really does. I mean, like, one of my trivia questions was, what year did San Francisco institute its no smoking in bars ban?
Yeah. What I can guess, but like, I mean, like 2003 or something.
It was 1997.
Oh, okay, wow. So like,
or it was I think it's either 97 or 98. I'm not that good at hosting trivia, by the way.
Half points for both.
I think
are right.
I think it was actually 98 because they voted on it in 97 and then it went into effect in January 98.
Sure, you know,
Checks
you got the
out.
whole leap year thing, right?
Exactly. And then there's the international date line. So, and I remember when they first instituted that in San Francisco. I don't smoke. I've never smoked.
Yeah.
But I was up in arms.
Oh,
like I was
it
just
seemed
like
laughable. Like it seemed like that's never gonna work. Like,
I was
and when they did it in New York too, it was like, haha, yeah, right.
I don't take too many very passionate stances, but for some bizarre reason, I was like, "What are you going to take fucking pool out of bars now, too?" And I was like getting up in people's faces about it. I was like, "This is bullshit." And now,
open your eyes, everybody! They're going to make us sit single file and stare at like a government-sponsored video.
Yeah, it's like this is the worst thing that happened since Nazi Germany. But now, when I go somewhere,
bartender with like emphysema, it's like, yeah, I agree.
Now when I go somewhere where they allow smoking, like this kind of feels like a flashback.
Yeah.
And also this feels like the kind of bar that you should have smoking in.
Right. Well, it's weird to me just because, like, you don't see that many people smoking anymore, period.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, like, thanks to vaping and other wonderful, like, alternatives. And also the fact that, cigarettes, like, are really deadly and awful.
Our newest sponsor, vaping. It's good for children.
This episode brought to you by vaping. Comes in delicious flavors.
Maybe Drew Harmon can do the marketing for vaping.
So we have no update on his job status, do we?
We're pulling for you, Drew. So yeah, while this bar does feel like the kind of bar that you should allow smoking in, when I go to a bar or if I go to some state where they still have smoking anywhere, I'm like, what is this? What are we, cavemen? like what is
Middle
this?
Ages? Like, do you guys have like electric stoves back there to cook my food, or are you gonna like hold it over a fire?
It's like, it does. It feels really weird. Remember, like my favorite when I was growing up is they would have, you go to a restaurant and the smoking sections of restaurants.
Oh, right.
And it's right next to like the non-smoking section, like the smoke nose. Don't go over there.
Or they'd put up like one of those half-assed like sort of shower glass like things where it's like, oh yeah, the cigarette smoke totally won't just like go over the top of that.
Smoke is really stupid. It doesn't really know how to get it.
Smoke is easily deterred.
I remember being a kid and just watching like old ladies in my hometown. In one hand they'd have a fork, in the other hand they'd have a cigarette.
It's
just like
beautiful.
Back and forth.
I just remember I had this like sort of army of like of elderly aunts and like and like they all lived in like Lake Havasu, Arizona, in like mobile homes. And so we would go to like one of their mobile homes and like they just sit around playing cards and like lighting one cigarette off of the other like for probably 7 or 8 hours at a time.
Oh yeah.
And then like once they got too old to do that, like then they all would just drive to Laughlin, Nevada, and sit in front of a slot machine like for like 15 hours, like smoking a cigarette.
Dude, I don't remember this because I guess it was happening when I was younger, but like nobody in my family smoked. And I didn't do a whole lot of like air travel when I was a kid, but like supposedly like you used to be able to smoke on airplanes.
Oh yeah, and I remember the first time that I went to like my parents were living in Mexico for a little while for reasons I don't want to talk about.
So that's my business.
But, and the first time that like I flew down there was 1996 maybe. And the Mexican airline that went from LAX to like this like town called Loreto in like Baja California, like totally had a smoking section in like 1998, which is crazy. Like and like I remember like and at the time I smoked, and like I was like I'm gonna fucking go smoke a cigarette in an airplane like a big shot, and like
ooh I've really made it now. I'm flying and smoking.
And it's like the second you do it, you feel like the biggest scumbag in the world. You're like I'm smoking on a plane. Like this is like the recycled air. Like
right, exactly.
It's like I'm killing myself like by doing this.
Come take a ride on a flying ashtray.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but I can't believe that they used to. I mean like if someone sneezes in the back of the plane, I assume I'm gonna get a cold even if I'm like all the way up front.
Mm-hmm.
And like so the idea that like you had like half of the plane like in the back like dragging away on cigars
away.
like while the front of the plane's like, oh yeah, this is beautiful. This is what a nice plane.
One of the things I do like to check out when I'm walking through airports is they have these sort of little terrariums where people can smoke.
Right.
And it's like
I always try to call it something cool like the Camel Fun Zone.
Yeah, exactly. And like just seeing people just racing to that little cube so they can sit in there and just hotbox it.
And it's like the most miserable experience in the world too, because it's just like it's like 20 people in a cube, so like your eyes immediately like go red and like you can hardly see, and it's just and like everyone in there hasn't had a cigarette in like 8 hours, so they're all just dragging like hotboxing shit out of it.
I knew people who said they can't take cross country flights because they smoke so much and they would like freak out because they can't do 5.5 hours without a cigarette.
Jesus Christ, they have gum now,
Also, you can just not smoke, knock it off.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta exercise the smallest amount of willpower.
I never smoked, but like the only thing I kind of like, not regretted, but like I always felt like if you were smoking, it was more social because you'd go outside and you can meet women who smoke.
Yeah, and there's definitely like I spent a lot of years in like the warehousing industries and stuff like that, and like that was where like all your shit talking was done. Was like outside of the building having a smoke. Yeah, and so I can totally see that like where if and like plus like it's sort of like would force you to like get up and like go away from your desk, which I always thought was nice.
Is it a shared experience? You used to smoke.
Yeah.
It's a shared experience. You just kind of like to do, oh, yeah, you're a smoker, I'm a smoker, we're both going to die.
Exactly. Neither one of us really care that much, right?
We're not really good at this whole life thing.
So what do you think about the whole shithouse going up in flames?
I just want to get my kicks. So you want to take a break?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's take a break, and we'll come back. And I have some hot takes about current events.
Ah, shit, yeah. Why not?
That's exactly the reaction I usually.
See, I'm like, now that you told me like that the bartender doesn't like cussing, it's all I can do.
Exactly.
He's just gonna be like, "Hey, did you guys have a nice time?" And be like, Fucking blowjobs, yes.
This place is fucking great. Oh, Jesus Christ. No, like, also in this article that I read, they said this guy who bought the place has never missed a day of work. He's the only one who works here. Never missed a day of work. Never took a vacation.
Jesus.
And there's a side of me that says, okay, like when you read that, you're like, oh, that's supposed to be kind of folksy and
right.
But I'm like, dude, fucking take a day off. Who are you, Cal fucking Ripken?
Go to Chicago for the weekend or something. Like, treat yourself nice.
Go to some crazy place like the Mission in San Francisco. All right, this is SF Barkast. We'll be back at, what's this place called again?
19th Street Station.
19th Street Station Bar.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the BART station.
No, or Glen Park Station.
Or College Station.
Or the 24th Street Bar.
We can just keep going. All right, we'll be back. All right, and we are back at 19th Street Station Bar in Oakland.
In the East Bay.
I like Oakland. Oakland's a cool town.
Oakland's getting, like, I mean, it is gentrifying, but, like, not, I mean, like, there is pockets of it that, like, sort of the artists that used to live in San Francisco are, like, spilling into. That's kind of cool.
I had a couple friends who got evicted from San Francisco because they didn't make enough money.
Right.
And that's the rules in San Francisco. You have to leave.
Fuck off.
And they were like, oh, yeah, so I'm going to move to Oakland. And then they came back and told me that the prices in Oakland for apartments are almost as bad as San Francisco. I find that very hard to believe. But
I mean, like, I think a lot of it, I mean, like, certainly with San Francisco, but probably more so in Oakland, if that's possible. Like, I'm sure it's, by neighborhood. I mean, you know, like, there's, obviously it's not going to be like, $200 a month or anything like that, no matter where you live. But, like,
it's true.
But I think that, when people look for what they want in an, or would have wanted in an apartment in San Francisco like 10 years ago, they probably still won't find it in Oakland. Like, you'll probably have to move to Tracy or,
Where is this earthquake I keep hearing about? It's going to bring all the rents back down.
If that Superman hadn't, like, intervened, it would have happened, like, when Gene Hackman tried to do it a long time ago.
I don't want to seem unappreciative of California, but I moved to California for the earthquakes, and we're getting lapped by so many other countries in the world.
I moved to, I saw the movie Superman, and I thought to myself, I'm going to move to California and buy the most worthless real estate I can find.
I know I'm going off
then
on
the earthquake will do the rest.
I'm going off on a tangent here, but, like, if anyone has never been in an earthquake, like, when I go back home to Massachusetts, and people will ask me about earthquakes because they've never been in an earthquake.
Right,
and they're like, what's it like? I'm like, it's like someone picks up the house and shakes it.
Right. It's weird and disconcerting.
Yeah, it's actually it is very weird because, like, you go your entire life thinking that the ground is just going to stay there.
Right.
And then when it starts shaking, you're just like, whoa, what the fuck else is going to happen here?
I've been in very few, like, earthquakes, and excuse me. And honestly, excuse me.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
I'll cut that out.
Come on, Andrew, be professional. Tell us your earthquake story.
No, I've been in very few earthquakes, and I haven't really been in a big giant one. So yeah, but, like, the small ones that I've been in, there is sort of like that, because, like, the initial thought that you have is like, oh, there's a truck going by, or an explosion happened, or nearby, or something in the distance happened, and then you sort of realize, oh wait, this is, like, I know what this is now.
Yeah.
And, like, it's sort of, it doesn't really, like, become, like, a scary thing, I think, until then, because, like, you're just sort of, like, caught off guard, like, for the most part.
Like, every once in a while in San Francisco, there'll be an earthquake that's like a 4.5 or 4.8, and everybody will say, did you feel the earthquake last night? I'm like, well, how strong was it? It's like, it was 4.8 on the Richter scale. I'm like, dude, I don't get out of bed for at least a 5. That's how Californian I've got.
Like, the earth better be, like, swallowing buildings whole before I have to get out of bed.
I can't waste my time with a 4.8 earthquake. Like, life's too short.
I gotta go rearrange my dishes that fell off the wall or something like that.
All right, so this is segment 2, and segment 2 is rapidly becoming our sports segment.
Indeed.
And we are at this bar where we're watching the Warriors game, and the Warriors are on a 22-game winning streak to start the season.
Like 26 overall, I guess, like, from
from
last year, but, like, yeah, 22 to start the season, and certainly this one is not in doubt.
They are
And they're
playing
on the road still.
They're playing against the Indiana Pacers.
Right. Who, not the best team in the world anymore, but certainly like Paul George is like can come back like gangbusters. And it's like
They take their basketball very seriously in Indiana.
it's a nice way of saying their team sucks. They go, you guys really support your team.
Exactly.
Like, are they any good? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. They're terrible. Steve Alford, Bobby Knight, Larry Bird. Larry Bird's birthday was yesterday, by the way.
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
Oh,
good
nice.
for him. I believe today it is Sean Kemp's birthday.
Really?
Yeah, there
Wow.
you go. Sean
Was he,
Kemp.
like, 7
Sean
years
Kemp,
old?
I think, meant everything to a very young Andrew Lauder once.
And then I found out that he had as many children as he had like slam dunks.
Exactly. He was a pretty virile guy, you know. Like he was.
Well, he didn't certainly didn't seem to want to impregnate anybody more than once. But he wanted to impregnate many women as many times as he could.
As Dr. J would say, he brought the soul to the hole.
As Will Chamberlain would say, not even close.
So the Warriors, all right, so I wrote this on Facebook about my guess for when the Warriors will lose.
It's
Clearly,
kind of like that's the only thing we have to talk about now. It's like when like will it be 5 years from now? Will it be 3 years from now?
well, yeah, exactly. But so they're handily beating the Pacers tonight. In fact, they had 79 points at halftime, which is fucking
Disgusting.
insane.
Disrespectful to the league, in my opinion.
Oh, wait a minute. It's only an 11-point game with 2 minutes to go. Well, nah, they're still going to – they're just toying with them.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
like when was the last time anybody like from the starting lineup played?
So I was saying that the best time for a team to predict a team losing will be on the second half of a road back-to-back.
Right. Which
So-
just happened.
Which just happened, but they did a road back-to-back from Toronto. They had to travel to Brooklyn, but Brooklyn's a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
So and they beat the shit out of them.
Right.
And so their next road back-to-back is after this game they go to Boston, they play the Celtics, and then they have to fly to Milwaukee.
Not a short flight.
And Milwaukee was supposed to be better than they are,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's a 1,000-mile flight, and I don't know, maybe this is how good the Warriors are. I'm like, I don't know, maybe they'll be tired. Maybe they'll just like lose all.
Yeah, that is sort of the best you can hope for, really. Like, yeah, because even it seemed like on the back-to-backs, like there was one game that they didn't have. Who was it? Bogut, and like they were missing 2 starters.
Yeah.
Which is like in the middle of a road trip, like those are just games you're supposed to sort of like choke back and lose.
Yeah, nobody wins every game unless
Yeah.
you're the Warriors.
Like,
But the other, so like after they get back from this road trip, which is like this monster road trip, they're gonna play the Cleveland Cavaliers on Christmas Day, and everybody's saying, okay, that's a game that they could lose. But they're playing in Oakland, so I fully expect them to win that game.
right.
And
Probably
then
like exert a lot of energy doing it.
Yeah.
I would guess too.
And then right after that, they go on a road trip they go on their Texas road trip where they play Dallas and Houston. I think that Dallas game is the one they'll lose right after Christmas.
But like
So there you go. You heard it here
bellies
first.
full of turkey and ham or whatever you eat on Christmas.
Right.
Like Christmas candy.
I'm being really bold and saying that's when they're gonna.
Draymond Green's gonna be all like bloated up from like Reese's like cups like from his stocking.
Anything else going on in sports? The Patriots lost another game. I can't believe we lost to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, that seemed like a rough game. There was a lot of like sort of terrible returns for touchdowns. They just like
Basically,
bad,
they spotted them 28 points. Like they scored 3. The Eagles scored 3 non-offensive touchdowns. So that's 21 points. And one of those, the pick 6 was on the 1 yard line. So the Patriots were going to score 7 points, and they ended up giving up 7 points. That's a 14-point swing right there. I texted a friend of mine, and I said to him, he's a big Giants fan, New York Giants. And I was like, oh, my God, losing to the Eagles, it's the most embarrassing thing I was like, this is the worst thing to happen to Boston. And I just recently saw the movie Spotlight.
That's the one about the Boston Globe, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah.
And
Is any good? I don't want to
really-
ruin the movie segment.
It's really good.
All right.
But he said, he's like, oh, if you think that's bad, the Giants just lost to the Jets. I'm like, ooh, jeez. Fuck. This is definitely a horrible time for us.
Well, everyone's saying that the Seahawks have their swagger back or whatever. Like, I still like beating Minnesota. Great. Like, I'm not that impressed. Like, I'm still not like I don't consider them to be back to sort of upper echelon, like
Nobody wants to play the Seahawks, and nobody wants to play the Steelers because now they're almost back to full strength. The Steelers not so much. Because what is it, Le'Veon Bell? He's out for the season.
Oh right, yeah. It's possibly they won't even make it, right? Like,
yeah. So it's only a 7-point game with a minute to go. Oh, and Klay Thompson looks like he's hurt.
Oh my god.
Oh my God. It's over. What a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, so it's 50 seconds to go. All right.
Oh, yeah, that game's over.
Yeah, it does. Looks like they got it put to bed.
So do you have any other predictions in sports?
Let's see. Well, congratulations, I guess, to the Portland Timbers or something. Like, they won. Like, who cares?
Oh, and what's that? That's like... Is that
Major League Cribbage or whatever?
Is that like ESPN 5 like thing where they show people chopping down trees?
Exactly.
So the Timbers won the MLS Cup.
Yeah, I guess. Like I for some reason, I thought it was like every other playoff round has been like a home and home sort of thing, but then I guess the final thing is just one game, which seems kind of weird.
Isn't that the way it's supposed to be?
I guess. I don't know. Like I could just. Like I got no problem with it, I guess. So good for Portland, whatever.
Yeah, throw Portland a bone. They need it.
Have fun with your voodoo donuts and your fucking like kombucha.
Kombucha, yeah, the Portlandia motherfuckers. What? I think that's it. I don't have much else going on in sports, man.
Well, we can we can switch to the regular news if you like.
You want to go to the regular
bring everybody down?
All right. How do you feel about the Scott Weiland? Is it Weiland or Whalen?
Whalen? Yeah. Like
Scott Weiland death?
Not entirely unexpected. It seems like he was kind of a drug pig his whole life.
Were you ever a big Stone Temple Pilots fan?
You know, I did buy their big selling first CD or whatever. I don't remember listening to it, but like. I don't know. I was they were sort of riding on the Nirvana coattails to some extent.
I mean, more so the Pearl Jam, right? Everybody said
completely, yeah.
But no, actually, I remember everybody saying like, "Oh, Stone Temple Pearl Jam," like, fuck those guys. And I'm just like, yeah, but like a lot of the songs are good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're catchy.
Right.
Pop,
I didn't really
pop rock.
Either care for or pay much attention to any of the Velvet Curtain.
Oh, Velvet
whatever.
Revolver.
Yeah.
I think I had that album, but then I was just like that's such an interesting, it's such flawed reasoning for that band. Where it's like basically the guys in Guns N' Roses were like, you know what, we're sick of dealing with Axl Rose's bullshit. Bring in Scott Weiland.
Right.
What? Like
that didn't work.
So, yeah, I mean, like that's kind of tragic. I read something today that his first wife wrote this whole thing about like don't cry for him or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, that he's pretty much shitty father and all that.
It was really awful. A lot of people were reposting it on Facebook.
Really?
And the thing is, it was I felt like in very poor taste. And then she's making a point about addiction, and but like she's really dancing on this guy's grave.
Yeah.
Like it came across like, okay, here's somebody who's still bitter about whatever breakup happened.
She mentioned her agent at the end, include a headshot.
What about the San? You want to chime in on the San Bernardino thing?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, like what's left to say at this point? It's made Donald Trump a lot crazier.
Wow. I actually now we have all the information about like what happened there.
Yeah.
But when the story first broke,
right.
All I was hearing was that like. Somebody went into a school for the developmentally disabled and shot it up. And I was just like,
That's fucked.
I lost my fucking mind when I heard that, because I was like, I've said this about like Sandy Hook. It's like we're never going to get any gun control legislation because like people have been waiting for something to be so shocking that something has to be done.
Right.
In Sandy Hook, some dude like walked into a school and started shooting children.
Yeah.
So what's worse than that? And then I was like, why did I even ask what's worse than that? Someone walks into a fucking like a school for the mentally disabled and starts shooting people. And then so I lost my mind. I was just beside myself. I was screaming and crying and throwing stuff. And then come to find out, it was just a bad Christmas party. Everybody's a critic, man. Let me tell you.
You know what? Like, I bet people will think twice before criticizing anybody's beard at a Christmas party ever again. Like,
it's such a weird, I have a minor in criminal justice.
right.
And so we used to have to analyze crimes. So we did a lot of mass killings,
Racial profiling, that kind of thing.
and serial killing and stuff like that. And very, very rare do you have like a husband and wife mass murder team.
Yeah, it's rare that a guy's that pussy whipped. It's like
what?
yes, dear, I'll shoot up the school.
Initially, they said that there were 3 gunmen. As it turns out, there's only 2. Well, this is one of the things that was just infuriating me, where it's like at the time I still thought they were shooting up the developmentally disabled. And I was like, how does anyone convince 2 other people to go do this?
Right.
Like, Andrew, even if you were totally a complete mentally if you were mentally ill and I said, hey, do you want to go shoot up Creativity Explored or some other place for the mentally handicapped, you'd be like, no, not at all. You wouldn't be like, well, I have to move some things around, but yeah, sure, that sounds like something I'd like to do.
You're like, hey, you know how soft targets are all the rage? Think about the softest target in the world.
Oh my God. So I don't know. You engage a lot more people on social media about gun control.
Oh God.
And
only by accident.
I just don't have the energy for it.
Yeah, you know what? It becomes it's weird because you reach this point where you just suddenly realize that oh, wait a minute, I'm arguing with a child, or I'm arguing with someone with no grasp of reality. I was sort of going back and forth with this guy that I went to grade school with on Facebook and don't know and all that, but he was he was like, oh, what the hell, I'm a responsible gun owner and all this nonsense, and so we traded back and forth for a while, and at one point he just goes down this tangent of well, so you don't think it's weird that everyone's taking these psychotropic mental medications and the increase in shootings, you don't think that's a little weird? I'm like, nope.
Even if he was 100% correct, what's his point? I need a gun.
Well, and wait, they don't have these drugs in other countries. It only affects Americans. There's so many weird and but he's still well, no, you're just not thinking, man, or something like that. And I'm like, no, you sound like a fucking idiot. You sound like someone saying that unicorns caused the Holocaust.
I used to think of the gun control and the Second Amendment as a bargaining chip for me, because when I was brought up, I was taught that politics is the art of compromise. You give me something, I give you something. I was always looking at the gun control issue as saying, you know what? You can have as many fucking guns as you want. You can have your fucking automatic rifles, which I don't agree with, but I want universal health care for everybody. And I realized that since that's not never going to be on the table, then fuck these guys. Take their guns away. I'm sorry, have the government go to their house and take their guns.
Right.
Or also you can have guns, but I'm sorry, you can't have automatic rifles.
Right. Well, and you know, I don't want to expose this person too much. I won't give his name or anything, but you can look it up on my Facebook page if you want. But one of the things that he brought up was I carry a sidearm with me, as part of my job or something like that. It's saved my life a couple of times or whatever like that. And I'm like, wow, what kind of dangerous thing you do? And he's a meter reader or something like that. And
He probably needs a gun because
But,
a meter reader. Oh,
Yeah, like-
I thought you meant like a parking meter reader because like fuck those people, I'd shoot them.
Oh yeah, well that I totally agree with. But like, but yeah, he was like, there's been a couple times where like all I've had to do was like flick my like fucking holster open or whatever, and like that stopped like the Warriors won, by the way, and so I was like, wow, like that sounds like a dangerous job. Like how many other like meter readers have been killed in that area in Arizona where you live? Like there's like none, but like. And like, but it occurred to me too that like, you know what, like if you're going into any neighborhood with a fucking visible sidearm and like snooping around people's houses, you're goddamn right they're gonna come up to you and be like, "What are you doing?" Like,
Actually, I think
like you don't think there's a cause and effect relationship there?
I think my little brother does that. Like he's a meter reader back in Taunton, Massachusetts, and it's like one of those things where it's a holdover job. It's something that they give to like the. Oh, sorry, Keith, the fuck up of the family, or your friend, where it's like, because like, we live in the information age. You don't need to have somebody walk around and like read the numbers on a fucking meter. You can just transmit them. But because it's like a lucrative union job, and people with connections can have it. But like my brother carries like mace with him. Well, for dogs.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, I got no problem with that. But like, like the idea of like, fucking being Mr. Intimidating meter reader, like where it's like, I'm gonna fucking flash my piece at everybody I see, like, like so I can like, find out what your electric bill is. It's like, what?
I met a postal delivery. I don't know what I can't. It's not postman. It was a
Mail
woman.
person.
Post person, and she carries with her like dog treats. I'm like, oh, that's so great.
Yeah, it makes sense. Do like chocolate peanut butter balls with tranquilizers in them.
Yeah. So I mean, I know. Here's the thing. I know people who have guns. They were brought up with guns.
Right.
They are responsible, but some of the argument, like 90% of like Americans, even people in the NRA, are in favor of sensible gun legislation. Like, hey, if you're fucking crazy or you're a crazy person, you have a history of mental illness, sorry, no rifle for you.
Right.
But some of like the arguments against it where it's just like, oh well, the guns bought in San Bernardino were bought legally, so no gun legislation was going to stop that. But like, you know what, just because it wouldn't have stopped one thing doesn't mean it wouldn't stop other things.
Exactly, yeah, it's like the whole, it's ridiculous. I can't even. There's so much I could say about it, but like it's just preaching to the choir.
I mean, there are some people. Like I said, there are some people who are responsible gun owners, and to them, I say, "Fuck you and your guns."
So you say, shoot yourself.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like when they talk about like gun statistics.
Yeah.
They say like, okay, well, one of the most heavily armed states is Alaska.
Yeah.
Right, and they have very little gun violence. But if you look at like the suicide rate, guess what? There's a lot of gun violence.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, like what else is there to do?
Because like, guess what? Like, if you decide you're gonna like shoot yourself, that's not like, I wonder if this will work or not. It's gonna happen.
Well, and plus, like, if you're depressed in October, guess what? You're not going to see the sun until like May. So like,
wow. All right, so that's
have fun for that 6 months or whatever.
Oh, one last thing. What a shitty week, by the way. Robert Loggia died.
Yeah. Drink your orange juice.
Hey, kid, drink your orange juice. So rest in peace to Robert Loggia.
I hope he at least drew it out like a really long time, like
Tony, don't shoot me, Tony.
You're like, what's he doing? Oh, he's been doing this for like 4 hours now.
All right, let's take a break. We covered a lot there.
I know, yeah. Jesus, like,
let's take a
roller
break.
coaster.
Let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk more about the bar.
Sweet.
And bask in the Warriors' victory. 23-0, ladies and gentlemen.
Good Lord.
All right, this is SF Barkast. We'll be back from 19th Street Station.
Whoa, Robert Loggia.
Billy, your mother's right. New Minute Maid orange tangerine tastes great. This got as much calcium as milk.
If you say so, Mr. Loggia.
Yeah.
This is great.
Enjoy your breakfast.
New Minute Maid orange tangerine with calcium.
Yeah.
All right, and we are back at 19th Street Station in Oakland.
Indeed. Very close to 19th Street BART Station, if you can believe it.
That story checks out.
If you're trying to get here, just get off of MacArthur and walk.
I love Oakland because it's, it seems to have all the character that San Francisco lost in the last 2 decades.
Don't worry, I'm sure it'll acquire it and then lose it in the next 5 years or so.
Also, and everybody says this, that Oakland has a lot more diversity over here.
Yeah, I can believe that for sure.
Yeah, there's actually black people.
I was going to say, let's move on from that before either one of us say anything we regret.
Casey Lai used to have this great joke where he's talking about diversity in San Francisco.
Right.
And he said, yeah, I guess it's someone's fucking birthday. Stepping on my joke.
Celebrating birthdays.
Celebrating birthdays, eh? So Casey had this joke about San Francisco diversity. And he said, yeah, people in San Francisco love to talk about how diverse San Francisco is, but it's not. It's diversity in San Francisco goes like this. Some of these white people are gay. That's it.
Okay, it's time to play. We briefly mentioned him last time, and I want to keep mentions of Donald Trump to an absolute minimum if we can.
Jesus Christ!
But I came up with a brief game that we can play, and maybe this will lead us into some. You can recall some trivia from last week or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
But so this game is called Did Donald Trump Say It recently?
Trumped up quotes.
Taking a Trump is the name of the
Trump truck.
Big messy Trump. Okay, so the first one is, I'll get Bill Gates to shut down the internet.
Just so the question, you're asking me if Donald Trump said this.
Did Donald Trump say it, or did some other idiot say it? So I guess, the two answers
are
Trump or idiot.
It sounds... This is a really hard game, Andrew. You know why? Because it sounds too ridiculous for Trump to say.
Exactly.
But, where is the fucking event horizon of, ridiculousness that he won't cross?
Exactly. It's almost impossible
So
to tell.
I'm going to say he said that.
He did say that.
Okay. Fuck. I hate winning at this game.
Well, to which I think somebody on Twitter responded, yeah, what? And then you can call Thomas the Tank Engine to shut down the rail system, you stupid idiot. It's
no. At Bill Gates' house in Washington, he just has this huge switch that says on and off.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Trump said
he gets it mixed up with the garage door opener. He's like, fucking thing doesn't work. All right, so the next one is, and I guess some of this is paraphrasing, but even U.S. citizens who are Muslim traveling abroad should not be allowed to return.
That is something he did say.
He did say that.
Yes.
All right. And
here's my strategy for playing this game.
Yeah.
If it's wildly racist, I'm going. He said it.
There we go. All right, and the last one: all college students should carry guns to end those Muslims.
He did not say that.
He did not say that. That was Jerry Falwell Jr., the president of Liberty University.
Wow. Well, that's the other thing.
What a time to be alive.
Well, that's the other thing when what the San Bernardino shooting is I know I'm going on a false premise, but at the time when I thought it was a shooting of a developmentally disabled school, one of the things that people
I did a lot of things I'm not proud of during that.
I said a lot of stuff. I said a lot of stuff, and it was all wrong, but it was all hilarious. So never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Exactly.
But one of the things that gun nuts always say is, well, if there's a shooting in a movie, if you don't want to get shot in a movie theater, have a gun.
Yeah.
You can shoot back.
The only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Right. So when I thought somebody shot up the mentally disabled school, I was like, are we going to give the mentally disabled guns?
that will be their response. Will be well, shit, why aren't we arming potato heads to the teeth?
Yeah, fucking Forrest Gump would have been better if he was packing.
Yeah, exactly. Jenny wouldn't have treated him so poorly if he was fucking packing heat.
Jesus Christ. Oh. Can I say something about during the break I went to the men's room here, and I love the interior design This is not
you wanna
interior
call it that.
design. This is just something that happened.
Yeah, like there's a large percentage of
It's
of
like
the wall art that is like given to them by different alcohol suppliers for sure. But there's also a lot of like sort of real old shit around.
It's
too,
kind of
which
like, like I watch the Dan Patrick Show every once in a while.
Yeah, like how
and
they've
he's got a man cave, and like, he's got like a bunch of collectible stuff. And they always kind of make fun of him because they're like, there's a fine line between like having a man cave and decorating it with little collectible stuff and hoarding.
right.
I mean, like, yeah, where's that? Where's
Or
the
like
where's the
collecting
delineation?
Hummel figurines or something. It's just like one of those lonely cat lady things, but like for dudes.
So this is something that they do in the town I grew up a lot at the sports bars,
Right.
where it's like when you're out here in the general area, like they put up a bunch of like sports stuff, and maybe there's like a beer commercial with like a sexy girl on it here
Yeah.
or there.
Yeah.
But then when you go to the men's room, it's just all like swimsuit models, and I know I'm letting our female listeners, all one of her, know about what it's like to go into a men's room. But it's like there's nothing like in this men's room, it's not as bad as the places in my hometown.
Yeah.
But it's like you go to the urinal there, and there's just this life-size like swimsuit model like looking at you.
I don't understand. Like, are you supposed to like beat off into the urinal or something?
You're just like sitting there, and you're like, well, I already have my dick out.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well,
Pretty
much just a matter of throwing a switch, right?
I hate to miss an opportunity. It kind of seems like the men's room wants me to do this.
Since Bill Gates turned the internet off, what the hell else am I supposed to do?
Although, like, now I'm not saying you should do that, okay? But if you did do that and
Yeah.
somebody walked in, could they get mad at you? What are you doing? Are you crazy? It's like, well, what the fuck is
What
going
kind of
on?
animal walks
Like,
walks into
surround-
a room, a locked room with filled with posters of hot chicks and starts thinking about stuff like that?
I think it'd be harder, like, if you had like a family, and you're kind of like, okay, my masturbation schedule has to be very regimented to make sure everything. But it's like, so maybe you go in there like, oh, my kids aren't around.
Good.
The only thing that's missing is like a phone cord for my neck.
Exactly. So guess what?
What do you got, Andrew?
San Francisco Sketch Fest, of which we are going to be a part.
That's
very,
right.
A very small free part, but a part
We want
nonetheless.
everybody to come out if you want to see a free show. And actually,
Start buying your plane tickets, fans.
we've never done a live show in front of an audience.
No, we have not.
Do you think we'll do all right, or do you think you'll just clam up?
I don't know. I think
Do you
that
get stage fright?
I think that it will be a lot like the way we normally do it, which is like we'll be sitting in a bar and like maybe one or two people will be paying attention to us, and like they'll sort of be like, "What the fuck are they doing?"
What are those assholes?
Hey, is that a bomb?
So what's
and
happening?
We'll in pure barcast form, we'll go to the bartender or the owner and we'll be like, "Hey, do you mind if we record here?" And they'll be like, "Why are you bothering me?"
Exactly. That's my favorite part of doing the barcast. Going over and telling the bartender, "Hey, we're just going to record our conversation," and he's like, "Why are you wasting my time and your time?"
Oh, I'm sorry. We just thought you'd like to know that there's show business going on in your establishment.
Yeah, we don't want to be mobbed. Okay, that's what I'm just saying.
See, if you need to call extra security, we'll
So what's
we'll help
happening?
pay for it.
So what's happening at Sketchfest?
Okay, so I got an email blast from Sketchfest this
Wow.
weekend saying that 2 new guests have been added, and if
Wow, they must be some great comics.
if well, if you haven't already bought your tickets, get them now. Because the whole thing's going to sell out once they announce, now that they've announced that Billy Crystal and Sammy Hagar will be
Bill
part.
Crystal, the political analyst.
No.
That old man.
The guy who was funny on Soap and then less funny every appearance since then.
Dude, I saw him at a shoe convention. I know that sounds like
Glamorous.
I saw him at a shoe convention in Vegas once, and
Did he have like a line of shoes, like the?
No, it's like at the WSA, which is the World Shoe, I don't know,
Asshole.
Association. There's a bunch of old shoe dogs going down there. I went 2 years in a row, Vegas. The first year, the entertainment was Jerry Seinfeld, and it was right after he left his show.
Yeah.
They must have paid him. They must have gave him a dump truck full of fucking money because Jerry Seinfeld didn't have to do anything after a show.
Right.
And then he's like, I think I'll go like entertain these shoe dogs. And then the next year it was Billy Crystal. And Billy Crystal, it was right after
The company had like a really bad year or something. Like,
it was right after 9/11, and Billy Crystal did all these super racist jokes towards Arabs. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this old man? Billy Crystal, was he ever funny? Yes or no, Andrew?
oh, I say yes.
Yeah,
And
on
like,
SNL.
And I think that there are, on SNL and like even on Soap and like stuff like that. But like,
Never watched Soap.
I feel like there's a generation of people that will never understand that Billy Crystal and Jay Leno both used to be funny people.
Jay Leno used to be a funny guy.
Yeah.
Although, even like when I go, like I remember when Jay Leno came down the pike.
Yeah.
I went and saw him a few times in Boston and New Bedford, yeah, right. New Beige. And he was at the time I thought he was great, but I feel like if we had a time machine and I went back and checked him out, I'd be like, this shit again. I think it kind of feels a little dated. It's kind of like
totally, yeah.
It's kind of like when you see early like Barry Sobel stuff, where it's like when you see Barry Sobel's act now, when he's doing the sort of like white guy from Brooklyn, being all urban. I'm being really nice here.
Yeah, you are.
Right now, it seems really dated. Like, wow, why is he doing that? And like by the time, it was blowing people's minds.
Amongst other things.
I'm just going to put the joke on the tee, and you just wind up and swing at it, okay?
Exactly. T-ball is fun.
So who is the other person that is going to be at Sketchfest?
Oh, I believe I mentioned it already, but Pat Francis, who sort of like, I guess, Jimmy Pardo podcast listeners may recognize as a frequent guest. He has his own podcast called Rock Solid, I believe. That's a music podcast. I don't think I've ever listened to an episode. But his guest...
Listening to podcasts is stupid.
Yeah, what a waste of time. But his guest at the Sketchfest will be the Red Rocker himself, Sammy Hagar.
Sammy Hagar. Wow.
Mr. 3 Lockbox.
I hear a rumor that he cannot drive 55.
I wonder if, like, so do you think that, like, most of the time, and I don't want to jinx our own podcast recording,
okay,
but a lot of,
Go
like,
ahead.
Podcasts that get recorded at Sketchfest, I would say aren't 100% attended usually. Like, I mean, like, they'll get, like, usually half a theater or something like that. But, like,
what are you
solid.
saying to me?
But I'm saying, like, now, so, like, I would have expected, like, a Pat Francis podcast to pull maybe, like, 50 people. And so now that he has Sammy Hagar, do you think that sells out? Or do you, I mean, like, are there that many people that just want to watch Sammy Hagar, like, sit and talk about Cabo Wabo or whatever?
Okay, I have another question for you.
Right.
Do you think...
Who cares?
a little two-word question for you. Do you think... I'm going to go the opposite way. Do you think there are people who already bought their tickets and now want to like, return them because Sammy Hagar's on?
Exactly. Or they're, like, delusional and think that they like, have a golden ticket now where, like, I'm going to, like, turn around and sell this for $1 million because everybody wants to see Sammy Hagar.
You won't believe it. It's like I have Star Wars tickets in my hand. By the way,
everyone wants to see Sammy Hagar and not hear him sing.
You know me. I like nothing more than making fun of people who like comic books and Star Wars.
Right.
But I broke down because it is a cultural phenomenon. I already have bought my Star Wars tickets.
Yeah, I'm about to break down and do that probably, but yeah, like it seems like something that you sort of have to do.
Yeah.
Like I mean, yeah, like I think everybody's got to see it. Like in the first several days.
Do you have high hopes?
I'm trying not to, but I'm sure I secretly do. I think it'll be really good. Like I'm not necessarily looking forward to like change cinema or like that, but like
what cinema?
Like just change like the entire medium. Like I'm not necessarily think it's going to be like a life-altering experience, but like I think it'll be a really good movie. Or at least
Yeah,
it'll be
I
fun.
think so. The only thing, like, every time there's like a new trailer out, like I download it, I watch it,
Right.
and I'm just like, I get excited.
Pull your pants back up.
The only part of the trailer, like, I like the fact that they have like basically two unknowns, like, as the leads in it. I can't wait to see Adam Silver in it, and but like, there's a couple of shots.
Wait, Adam Driver?
Adam Driver, sorry, Adam Silver's the NBA commissioner. Adam Driver.
Yeah, he might play an alien in it.
You played Nosferatu. But like, there are a couple of shots in the trailers of this action sequence with 70-year-old Harrison Ford.
Oh
Like,
my God!
and I'm just like, guess what? That part of the movie, that's
Yeah.
gonna suck. I was over Harrison Ford as an action star.
Yeah.
I think possibly when he played like the ass-kicking president in Air Force One.
Right, or like Patriot Games or something like that.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh yeah, like he's a badass, like young CIA guy. Like,
How dare you, sir?
get off my plate.
You come in. You come in here and yell at me like some junkyard dog. Speaking of movies, I saw the movie Spotlight,
Yeah.
which is very good.
So that was, it's about the Boston Globe reporters. Like
Yep.
Mark Ruffalo in that.
Ruffalo's great in it.
Oh, okay.
Ruffalo's great. Rachel McAdams, Michael Keaton. It's
Oh, okay.
it's definitely going to be like a award film.
Yeah.
Although quite possibly the whitest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Imagine that, a movie about fucking priests
The Boston
in Boston
newspaper industry.
Yeah,
Like,
priests in Boston raping kids. It's like not a whole lot of. It's not a whole lot of it takes place in Oakland. I just to say,
probably not.
but it is. It's really good. Mark Ruffalo's great in it.
Like, there's a few movies that like are coming out towards the end of the year that like sort of like slid under the radar or whatever, or not under the radar, but like, but I think that like Academy Awards season should be interesting because like there's so many directors that are coming out. Like David O. Russell's got a new movie coming out, and like there's like what's the other one that I saw? Oh, well, the Iñárritu movie with
right,
DiCaprio and
And
Tarantino's movie and like.
Tom Hardy. Somebody was telling me that the Tarantino film is.
Hateful Eight.
What's it called? Oh, the
Hateful
Hateful
Eight, yeah.
Okay. It's got a lot of controversy because he called cops murderers, which a lot of them are.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh shit, we're gonna get protests at our Sketchfest show now.
Oh my God, no.
We wish. If you
Our
want,
security detail will allow assassins to get through.
if you want to protest our Sketchfest show, we'll also let you into the show for free.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
So
any press is good press.
somebody was telling me that the Tarantino film possibly is going to be the last nail in the coffin for actual celluloid film.
Oh, really? Oh, I had no idea that like that was still a thing.
I don't even know what they're doing. I used to be a projectionist when I was in high school,
Yeah.
and did it in college as well. So I know how to my way around a projector and platter systems and crossover dots and all that bullshit.
Might as well be saying like I know how to drive a Model A, a Model T.
I can just hear all of our female listeners like turning it off right now.
It's like, put on Joe Satriani or something more sexy.
So apparently Tarantino insisted on releasing his film in 70 millimeter, which, by the way, is
Holy shit.
fucking massive. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've ever seen like a 70 millimeter platter system. It's
Like, I mean, 70 millimeter is big.
it's twice the size of normal film.
Right.
So, and I guess like because Tarantino was like, oh, it looks so great and all that stuff. Apparently, he insisted on releasing it in 70 millimeter. So a lot of these theaters, they're not equipped for 70 millimeter.
Oh shit.
So they had to like buy or they had to like actually make 70 millimeter projectors.
What?
And handling 70 millimeter film is really hard because like
Yeah, yeah.
35 you can like use your fingers and it's super easy,
Yeah.
but 70 millimeter is just this massive like thing. And apparently a lot of these theaters Like they have no. They're like, what am I fucking supposed to do with this? A lot of times, what theaters do now is they set. Like I remember working in a theater, and you would get like the canisters, and you'd have to build the film up, take the tails and the heads off the films, and splice them all together and put them on the platter. And now, I guess what they do is they send you like a little card in the mail, and then and it's got the code on it, and it downloads the movie to your secure whatever your fucking network at the movie theater, and then you press the play button, and everybody's happy. Oh my God, everyone's happy. It's totally wet.
The owner of the theater presses the play button from his cell phone in like St. Bart's. Like, okay, 7 o'clock showing of Hateful Eight.
So because Tarantino is such a fucking dick about like
that's so funny because like I remember, it was some cinematographer actually that I was listening to, where somebody was really pressing him on, like, and it was like not like it might have been like Vilmos Zsigmond or some like Academy Award nominated cinematographer that shot on film for many years, and like they were pressing him saying like is film actually better than digital at this point, or is there a difference? And like he said, like anybody that says that there is a difference is lying to you at this point. Like
this is Tarantino.
Well, this is like the Vilmos Zsigmond or some cinematographer, like saying that like that anybody that says that that film is better to shoot on at this point, like is only saying that for sentimental reasons. At
a certain point, it's going to sound like. Oh, that's that film school dickhead talking
totally,
again. You know? It's just like, it's like people who were like, "Well, talk your ear off about how great vinyl sounds."
Right.
I mean, like I had some conversation with this guy once, and like one of my favorite albums is My Bloody Valentine's "Loveless."
Yeah.
And this guy said, "Yeah, but you know what? The only way to listen to that is on vinyl." And I just I had to restrain myself from punching him in the chest. It's like, you pretentious piece of shit. And it's like maybe it's the same thing with like film now. It's like when digital first came out and you were watching a digital movie, it looked like shit.
Yeah, it looked like a fucking videotape. Like
absolutely, it was terrible. But like now, I mean, like just because like that happened in the past doesn't mean that there weren't any improvements.
Right.
So I mean,
it's weird too that as a result, the entire process of like movie making is different because like. You can just leave the fucking thing on all the time if you want. Like, it's like it's like it used to cost so much money to go through film.
When you and I went to film school, like you couldn't dick around with because you had to like develop and process all this film, and that's expensive.
Oh yeah,
And remember like when we were editing at NYU, we were editing on a flatbed.
Yeah, exactly.
Which basically, you're taking the physical. The actual physical film and splicing it together.
Yeah.
And if you do the whole thing and then you go, no, I didn't like that edit. I think I'll do it again. You had to take everything apart.
Right.
And so you never did that. You had to get it right the first time.
Well, and the idea of shaving a frame off of something or like that was like totally impossible because you'd already like taped it up and it looked like shit. And like if you tried to like cut a frame out of like an already spliced like thing, like it would just like the projector would fucking eat it and like burn it.
All I'm saying, people, is that
we're dinosaurs.
Well, we are dinosaurs, but filmmaking used to be just for a select, very confused few, and now any jackass with an iPhone can make a movie.
It's so unfair.
It's so unfair. Everything when I think of all the money I spent at NYU, it just makes me cry.
It used to be an art reserved for people that could afford film.
Jesus. Are you excited for anything else in the theater?
Let's see. There was. God, I feel like there's stuff I've missed too. Like there's movies that came out like in the last year that were. I feel like I was looking at a list the other day and I think there's just a ton of stuff that that sort of either didn't get like a big release or like there was like
I wonder
some David O. Russell movie at the beginning of the year. Like,
David O.
came
Russell?
up. Yeah, like he's made like 2 movies this year.
Okay, Notorious Asshole.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
imagine that. Well, the other thing about like Tarantino, like just going to bat for like 70 millimeter film is like, look, dude, I know you think it looks better. But, like, how much better does the film have to look to use the N-word, like, 1 million times?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Oh, yeah, exactly. I can't like do this in digital, like we're having Jamie Foxx or like having Paul Dano scream the N-word like in a scene. Whatever.
That's right.
All
I
right.
need lots of money to cover this.
All right, let's take a break and come back, and we'll maybe do some bad Yelp reviews.
Perfect.
And, okay, this is SF Barkast. We are at 19th Street Station Bar in Oakland.
You expressed it.
Back at 19th Street Station. Andrew,
Indeed.
that break that we had,
Yeah.
possibly one of the best breaks we've ever taken.
One of the more educational ones.
And I know,
sure.
like, some of the listeners are probably like, oh, what the fuck? What could happen during a break? Did you go to the bathroom again? But the owner,
Went to the bathroom. I ruined it.
Roy Mahita, came over and gave us a whole rundown about the bar.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, and he cleared up the whole $500 bar thing and all that.
Yeah, according like the article I read in the East Bay Express made it sound like he bought the whole bar for $500.
I read the same article and I agree. Like they did misrepresent that story if he told it the same way that he told us.
And apparently, what he bought for $500 is actually the physical bar right over there.
Still a good deal.
Still a
but
pretty
like-
good deal. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
pretty big bar.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's a long bar, and like he showed us pictures of the place when he bought it.
It used to
Like-
be a doctor's office.
Yeah, and just a big empty room, and like it's amazing how, I mean, this is '92.
Dude, think about how
like,
this is a doctor's office. Think of all the people that died here.
this is 19th Street Station bar. Think of all the people that also died here.
Yeah, and actually, like when he was saying this, this used to be a doctor's office. You can't tell because they have all this kooky stuff on the walls.
Yeah.
Because it looks like very much like a what do you call it, like a man cave bar, dive
Yeah.
bar. But like when you look at like the actual dimensions of it, like I could totally see this as the doctor's office.
Well, it is funny, because like there's so much stuff on the walls and everything like that, and it looks like it looks like any bar like in New England or something like that that's been there for like 80 years or something like that. And so like it's amazing that like all of this was like put in after '92. Like that's,
I know.
That's surprising.
Well, he said like a lot of the. I was like saying to him like, I like all the stuff you have on the walls. He's like, a lot of it's there just because there's like holes in the walls. I'm like, that's my
It's
favorite.
like a family of 5 living behind that load-bearing poster.
That's my favorite interior design concept. Where it's like, there's a hole in the wall. Put up a kooky poster.
Exactly. Like, hey, do you have like you have a bar mirror? Then your hole is fixed.
Andrew, we're not going to do bad Yelp reviews. You know why? Because
Yeah.
there's only 2 1-star reviews, and
The place is most of the reviews are super positive because
Yeah.
like it's people that are like, oh my god, a place I can smoke.
if you were a smoker, this place is a oasis.
Oh, totally.
A smelly
And
oasis.
literally the only like there were like maybe 3 bad reviews, and they were
Yeah.
all like, I walked in, smelled like smoke, I walked out.
1 star.
It's like, why did you leave a review? Like, why not just like leave that for other people? Like,
My
you don't have
favorite-
to like fucking try to convert this place.
Like my favorite of 1-star reviews are people who go, "Oh my god, I walked in, I smelled smoke, and then went down the street and found a different bar." I'm like, "Oh my god, thank God that story had a happy ending."
Exactly.
Like, who gives a fuck what you did after you left?
It was really up in the air in Act 2, but like you really brought it home in the final sentence.
Exactly. It's like, good. There was smoke in this bar, so I left and went to the parking lot and made $20. Who gives a shit?
Right. It's like, no.
No. Andrew's like answering random people. Andrew, I did a walk through the whole bar. What is your favorite thing on the wall
What,
here?
favorite piece of knickknackery?
Knick-knackery, knick-knack, paddywhack.
There's a few good options. I mean, like there's a huge Margaritaville plane, which is awful, but there's a sign that just says the best nooner in town.
Best nooner in town.
That I
A
really
nooner,
like.
A quickie, a matinee.
Exactly, and other vintage George Carlin material. Let's see, boy, like that's a good question. I think I might like this one Pabst Blue Ribbon chandelier that's here the most of all.
That's
Although
a good
there's
one.
a lot of contenders.
There's a good picture of Humphrey Bogart from the movie The African Queen, where he's opening up a cart, a big box of Gordon's gin.
and
Supposedly
he,
when
and he
they-
looks like death warmed over.
Supposedly, who did the African Queen? Was it
Houston?
Houston,
John
yeah.
yeah.
Supposedly, when they were shooting that movie, everybody was getting eaten by mosquitoes during the whole thing, except for Houston and Humphrey Bogart, because they were so drunk the whole time.
The mosquitoes would just like bite them and drop dead.
Yeah, if you're just like a regular mosquito, like you're not asking for trouble. All you want to do is suck a little blood,
Yeah.
and you start sucking Humphrey Bogart's blood, and you're just like, oh my god, I'm gonna die.
It's like it's like all whiskey and cigarettes. It's like,
He's
that's
like,
the
ooh,
worst.
menthols.
It's like fuck.
I think
When you're smoking unfiltered.
one of my favorite things here is this little plaque over here with a picture of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Dale Earnhardt.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And the father has his arm around his son, and it's saying like 2 generations of great NASCAR. And it's like he's got his arm around his son, this very affectionate pose, and it's clearly photoshopped. They're probably on different coasts.
Right.
The dad's probably like, I'm not posing with my dickhead son. And they're like, oh, can you make it seem like we like each other? Sure, why not? Fuck it.
I was I think I've always wanted to have like a van that had like a painting of of Dale Earnhardt Jr. driving with like his father's ghost like hovering in the sky.
I think we can get like a Kickstarter going for that.
It's like pay for me to move to South Carolina and become a total redneck.
People like have Kickstarters for stupider things.
Exactly.
How
Yeah.
much.
Like, actually, do you want to get into like plugs or anything, or is
Sure.
it too early for that? Because that actually sort of leads into one of my plugs being moving to North Carolina and becoming an idiot, and that is
Who did that?
the Moog Fest in 2016 lineup has been announced, which like 2 years ago was really it seemed pretty cool. This year's lineup in Durham, North Carolina, in April, I believe. Gary Newman of Cars fame, and Reggie Watts and DJ Lance Rock.
Reggie Watts is
Yo
perfect
Gabba
for
Gabba.
Moog Fest.
Yeah, he totally is. Like they definitely had I feel like the one 2 years ago they had like Giorgio Moroder and like all these like fucking Moog pioneers or whatever. Like it seemed like it might be kind of fun, but like this seems like a reduction in the amount of talent this year.
I don't have a whole lot of plugs, honestly. Like, it's been such a horrible week. Although I did win trivia last night.
Nice.
Went to Asiento in the Mission and
okay.
had
Wait, where's that? I've never even heard of that place.
It's the old. I think it's the old, not Comic Club. I forget. It's like 21st and Bryant.
Oh, okay.
But they have like a brainstormer, and if people don't know, brainstormer is like this corporate trivia where like people don't come up with the questions on their own. What they do is there's someone centralized in like Denver who sends out the questions via the internet, and then
Oh,
people
is it kind of like that old form of trivia, like where you had like the little keypad?
No,
like,
no. It's basically it's like a regular trivia night, but the thing is, like all the questions get sent from, I don't know, Trivia Central. In, like,
okay, to
Boulder.
the host or whatever. Like so,
Yeah,
like he does.
exactly. So the host is not like actually a good trivia like jockey.
The host could be a fucking robot.
Exactly.
Like, why not just have like the trivia man 5000 or whatever.
This is what the host is good at: speaking into a microphone and reading.
Right.
That's about it. And so the whole night, like I host my own trivia night, so I felt like I can criticize every single thing the host was doing, and how I was talking about how all the
not only
questions.
that, but it's your duty to do so.
But I was complaining all about how all the questions sucked and they were terrible questions. And then when we won, I was like, that was one of the best trivia nights I've ever been to. So it's a matter of perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
It also was like one of those things where this one team usually wins every single time. And we had a furious comeback at the end and beat them.
Nice.
And I'm not a big proponent of shit talking, but I did say a couple things to them afterwards.
I don't like gloating necessarily, but I rubbed their fucking stupid faces in it.
There you go. Better luck next time there.
The only other thing I have is I'm continuing to watch this Amazon show from like a year ago or so called Red Oaks. That's really great.
Oh yeah, I haven't. You told me about this, but
Yeah, and actually, there's people involved with it. Like, I'm constantly surprised by like who they're getting to like direct episodes of it. Because like I saw like Soderbergh's name was involved like at one point, and like they fucking dug up Hal Hartley. Remember him?
oh
Like,
yeah, wow.
Like and I was like, holy shit! Like, and actually the episode he did that was like a 4th of July episode was really great. Like, it just it had like a really good feel to it, and like it's a fun show. It's like
The Leftovers, the season finale was on Sunday, and I'm still processing it.
Okay.
Like The Leftovers is like one of those shows where you can't tell if it's gone full David Lynch or if it's something different. And I think that's one of the great things about the show.
Oh, cool. I've made the decision to start watching that.
Season 2, man.
Yeah,
Like,
that's my plan is to read all about season 1,
Sure.
not watch it, and then watch season 2. I think I might do the same thing with Fargo actually, because people have told me that season 2 of Fargo is like really really
Season
good.
1 of Fargo was really good too.
That's what I heard. I mean, like, I guess season 2 doesn't have Billy Bob in it, but
Oh.
but like what are you gonna do?
Does it still have Colin Hanks?
I think so. Yeah, like they were able to
I'll
afford
watch it
Colin
anyway.
Hanks. Colin Hanks said, "I think you'll be surprised how affordable I am." Everybody.
Yeah, aside from The Leftovers, now I'm going to go home. I guess we should do our, hopefully, I'm going to be gone for a little bit. I'm going to go
Yeah.
home for Christmas. Hopefully we should get our end of the year
Spectacular.
spectacular if
Yeah.
we can. And
Let's like
it's probably something that we should have talked about off mic.
No,
but whatever.
This is the world's most popular rehearsal. No, like I think it'd be a good idea to like ruminate over it, like while you're traveling back home, and then like we'll fucking blow it out as soon as you get back.
Yeah,
like,
look forward to that, and
Make
maybe
your bets.
maybe I can do we're just teasing. This is what they call in the industry as a tease, and I think maybe I'll do a podcast from home,
ooh.
maybe from Wendell's Pub.
Oh, holy shit! Well, don't make promises you can't keep.
I know. I better land that then.
This like, I mean, this place sort of not in a obvious way, but like for some reason it does remind me of like a place like Wendell's or something like that, where like they're like Wendell's seems well lit and like and
You can see everybody.
the kind of place where the cold, harsh light of day shines on many an alcoholic.
All right, so Andrew, what is your final analysis, Phil Giuano, of the 19th Street Station Bar?
I love it, and I love Roy. For
Wow,
for
love him so much.
yeah, exactly. Ray or Roy, I love them both. I think he's like super nice. Came over, talked to us, filled us in.
Sweetest guy in the world.
Doesn't have to do that. Probably doesn't give a shit about podcasts, but he's a nice guy, and like he even regaled us with stories about opening up Sambo's restaurants around the country, like for many, many years.
And the one thing that he's such a character. He's got so many stories. Like, just in a short amount of time, like, you learn so much. He can tell you so much. It's just incredible. Like, like, one of the things is, like, we had a Sambo's in my hometown.
Oh, yeah.
And
Totally
that was
remember.
right when they decided, oh, you know what? That's racist. And as it turns out, according to Roy, he worked with like the first owner.
Yeah.
Before his coked up son fucked it up. No,
It was like a guy named Sam and a guy named Bo.
Yeah, they were two like business partners.
Right.
And one guy's name was Sam, one the guy's name was Bo, and they put them together, and it has nothing to do with racism.
But I didn't really he didn't I don't remember a lot about Sambo's, but I do remember that I want to say they had an advertising campaign built around a character called Lil Black Sambo, and that's what people did.
I have no idea.
So I don't know, if
Before my time.
if bringing up Sambo's offends anybody, we apologize.
Yeah, if anybody's like basically a walking encyclopedia on Sambo's, get in touch with us. So this is my final analysis is that this is like one of the best bars we've done all year, and
Totally.
it actually reminded me that we have to do our end of the year review.
Yeah,
'cause this is
I would
gonna
say
be
late contender,
This
right?
is going to be late contender.
Coming up on the outside, around the turn they come.
This friend of mine went to these friends of mine. They went to the racetrack and they invited me to go, and I was like, I can't do that. Like I'm not, like it just
I'll
makes
gamble it all.
It just makes me sad. I love gambling, but like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
seeing animals. Like
Oh,
there's
yeah,
a
yeah,
guy at the racetrack with a shotgun, waiting for like a compound fracture to go out there and kill this like animal.
Keeping his fingers crossed, like, oh, come on, let today be the day.
It's not today be the day. And
I got a horse bloodlust.
so Jane Harrison, a friend of the show, she was saying that she was there at whatever Golden Gate Fields or whatever it is, and there was a horse called Touched by Autism.
Did they just shoot it before the race? Like, yeah, it's preventative measures.
And it's like she's like it was the fun. She's like for the entire race they couldn't stop laughing. They're like coming up on the outside, touched by autism.
in second place, very special.
Like, I wonder if I was like saying to her, I was like, I wonder if like if you could meet like the owner or the whoever the trainer of the horse, just be like, oh wow, so you must have some autism in your family. And he's like, no, I just thought it was funny.
No, the horse has autism.
Now I'm regretting not going to the track.
That's right. You didn't know it was filled with autistic horses.
Oh man!
Come for the gambling, stay for the autistic horses.
Jesus
Like
Christ!
that's the Odysseus Cavalia like slogan. Come for the autistic, come for the Asperger's horses.
You're on your own here, man.
Damn it.
All right, so I think that's it.
Indeed. Yeah, I got nothing else.
All right, cool. Well,
Except a hearty recommendation for 19th Street Station for.
okay, yeah,
fuck's
19th
sake.
Street Station. Now I want to say to all of our listeners who are still listening,
Yeah, you're our favorites.
the secret. Yeah, you know what? Parents are never supposed to say who their favorite listeners are, but if you're still listening to this, you're our favorite.
That's right.
Also, everybody have a
Come up to us at the live show and say, I listened to the end, and we'll high five you.
Exactly. Give us the secret handshake.
Right.
I want to say to all of our listeners who are still listening, happy holidays.
Happy holidays, indeed. Yeah.
And may the war on Christmas continue.
Who's the best comedian we've ever done?
Our best comedian?
Best comedian like that ever lived, or
In your opinion, we all have opinions. We all love
George Carlin for me.
You like Carlin?
The owner is
Yeah.
asking us about our favorite comedian.
Carlin's really strong. I mean, I sort of grew up with Steve Martin, so I've got a soft spot for him.
I'll go
Like,
I'll go either Carlin or Richard Pryor. Pryor's amazing.
that was the owner, Roy.
Yeah.
Asked
so there
us
you
who
go.
our favorite
See,
comedian
like
was.
what a great dude. He's like not only he mixes it up. In the article I read, they were saying one of the best things about this bar is mixing it up with like the clientele,
There we go. Or mixing it up with the owner,
or just mixing in general.
and getting thrown out, which is what we're about to do.
All right. So this is SFBarkast. We're signing off. I'm Jeff Cleary,
I'm Andrew Ladder.
and we'll see you next time.
Bad breath, yeah. Anyone can have bad breath, Marge, but you could knock a buzzard off a shit wagon. Remember that?